SDP Chair Lul Zimbasha held a meeting today with 300 European students, inviting them to Saturday's protest with the opposition, promising that the priorities for them are young people and students. In a ceremony lasting more than 2 hours, Lieutenant Zarifa Hassanai was honoured by relatives, friends and high state officials who all paid tribute to the First Lieutenant. Men dominate leadership positions in the local government, causing the Commissioner for Protection from Discrimination, Robert Gaida, to demand the 30% gender quota be implemented. It's 6 o'clock on Friday, the 10th of May 2019. Good evening and thank you for tuning in to RTV Ora's English edition. My name is Alexandra, bringing you the only daily update of the local Albanian news translated into English. The chair of the Democratic Party held a meeting with 300 European Democratic students to announce that part of the opposition's platform is to reduce university tariffs to zero for Albanian students. Lul Zimbasha said that additionally a special fund will be set up for infrastructure, labs and dormitories. Bachelor and master fees will be zero for students with family incomes under 640,000 lek per month. This means university will be free for over 90% of students. Furthermore, we will halve the fees for the rest of students coming from households with income over 640,000 lek per month. These changes will be funded by the state budget, explained Basha. Also present at the meeting was the son of Sokol Oldashi, for whom the Democratic chair declared was worthy of particular merit for his part in the student protests. According to the Democratic leader, everyone is responsible for contributing to the improvement of Albania's image in the world. His merit is that on the first day he was beside the Albanian students in the battle for higher education of European standards. But of course, he honours the legacy of his father, the former speaker of the Democratic Party Youth Forum, a friend and collaborator, Sokol Oldashi, who was tragically separated from life a few years ago, said Basha. The 300 European Democratic students have arrived in Tirana to participate in Saturday's national protest at the Prime Ministry at 6:30 p.m. The Albanian Armed Forces and relatives paid homage today to First Lieutenant Zarifa Hassanai, who was tragically killed in a mine explosion in Latvia. Relatives, friends and high state officials all paid their tributes to the First Lieutenant that died in the line of duty. After this ceremony, her body will be sent to the Cemetery of the Martyrs, where she will rest under the moniker Mother Albania. May 10th has been proclaimed a national day of mourning in honour of the First Lieutenant, as announced today by the Ministry of Defence. Speaker of Parliament Gramos Rucci, Mayor of Tirana Erion Veliaj, Interior Minister Sandor Leshaj and Defence Minister Olta Gjachka all attended the ceremony. In addition to the above-mentioned officials, also present at the memorial ceremony were the President of the country, Ilir Meta, Brigadier General Bardul Kolchaku and Socialist MP Talent Bala. Minister of Defence Olta Gjachka held an emotional speech in the homage ceremony of the First Lieutenant Zarifa Hassanai, who died in the line of duty due to a mine explosion in Latvia. Minister Gjachka said that in addition to the deep sadness, she even felt pride and respect for all the Albanians who've sacrificed everything in service of the country. It is not easy to choose farewell words for your beloved daughter and sister, our colleague and friend, because none of us had thought such a grave event could occur. None of us had thought that Zarifa Hassanai, with her vitality and love of life, would leave us in such an abrupt way. Our words will never fill the void you left us. Hassanai was an example to all girls wanting to join the armed forces. She was one of the best officers, and I believe that she would have had a great career ahead. We lost one of the best we had, and it will be very difficult to replace her. This is a painful moment for all of us. Rest in peace, said Minister Gjachka in her speech. The Prime Minister of Albania, Edi Rama, was also present at the homage and held a short speech in honour of the fallen lieutenant. I want to express my deep condolences as a Prime Minister, as a citizen and as a parent to the relatives of Hassanai. This woman, draped in the national flag, is the embodiment of the everyday truth of loyalty, commitment and sacrifice to the homeland. There is a large group of men and women that live with the mission of protecting us from any external threat so as to give our country its deserved dignity, said Rama during his speech. At a time when justice reform is advancing with vetting, it seems like finding a prosecutor or judge that has not been corrupted is almost impossible. But the Tirana prosecutor, Elisabeta Imarai, has called on law students to do this, while she said the prosecutors have the opportunities to do something good for people. She reiterated their primary duty remains the investigation of all penal offences. Because of the territory it covers, the Tirana District Prosecution is in daily contact with different layers of our society. There are over 70 prosecutors who are struggling and attempting, despite all the burden they have, to listen, to look for what they need and to carry out their main function, which is the investigation of all penal offences. We are together to say that the generation that works today, the generation that is about to emerge tomorrow, and the generation that will be the future of the justice system are unified in their purpose. I am convinced that each of you who have entered the path to study such an important and delightful field as that of justice have a goal. I invite you all to become prosecutors. It is a good, noble job, and at the end of the day, it helps in enabling us to live here and for our children to grow up in Albania, said Prosecutor Imerai. A representative of Opdat said justice reform is a bargain with the US. Meanwhile, people in Albania are disappointed that criminals remain on the streets. The representative stressed that work is now focused on building special anti-corruption prosecution to fight organised crime and corruption. Another point raised was to strengthen the High Council of the Prosecution and the High Judicial Council. Persons identifying as belonging to the LGBTI community continue to be discriminated against and denied rights. Because of this situation, it is estimated that about 94% of them conceal their sexual orientation. President of the Pink Embassy in Albania, Altin Hazizaj, says the most worrying situation occurs in schools because of bullying. This is the 10th consecutive year that Tirana hosts the Diversity Festival, which aims at developing a more supportive and diverse culture by raising awareness and combating homophobia and transphobia. Just before the local elections, the Commissioner for Protection from Discrimination has requested the implementation of the Gender Equality Law. A study has shown that women have a very low level of representation in local leadership positions. Here is the fact that only 15% of the positions as administrators are held by women, while the position of deputy mayors are all filled by men. Gaida appealed to local institutions to enforce the law, which obliges 30% of the leadership positions to be appointed to women. This is the first study on women's representation in local government, but according to the Commissioner, the problem remains with the information provided by the local units. Albanian agricultural products are safe. This was the message given by the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Bledi Quci, during a visit to a greenhouse in Bishan of Vlora. The Minister closely inspected a family business with nearly a 20-year tradition where thousands of tonnes of tomatoes are cultivated for both the domestic market and for export. According to Quci, Albanian products are 100% safe and are not impacted by genetic modifications or the use of hormones. Albanian products are safe and tasty. Albanians should be proud of these products, which are exported across Europe. There are no hormones in these products. Of the 300,000 tonnes of agricultural products we exported during 2018, not a single truck was returned to its country of origin. This is of great significance when assessing the quality of the products. I invite all Albanians to consume these products, Minister Bledi Quci said. Over the last year, Albania exported more tomatoes than any other country in the region and was ranked among the top 20 countries in the world for export of tomatoes. To prevent dishonest producers from selling and to punish those who violate food safety regulations, amendments and punitive measures are expected to be approved in the coming weeks. The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, as well as its subordinate institutions, will not allow anyone who compromises food safety to endanger the health of consumers. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join us again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of RTV Ora, thank you and good night.